Good morning. Thank you, Secretary Popea. It is an honor to be here again to celebrate these inspiring women and the incredible impacts they are making through the work they have dedicated themselves to all over the world. In my 4th year attending this ceremony, I continue to be inspired by the personal stories that accompany each of these extraordinary women. Some demonstrate raw courage in fact of true terror, and all of them speak to the strength and determination of a brave women everywhere. As First Lady of the United States, I'm proud of what this country continues to do for women. And I'm honored to represent a nation that not only recognizes women around the world who are making a difference internationally, but empowers and support them in their endeavors so they can affect positive change for others. A few weeks ago, I was awarded the Women of Distinction Award at Palm Beach Atlantic University for the efforts surrounding my Be Best initiative. The event brought together students and women leaders who have dedicated themselves to helping others and making a positive impact in their communities. While my initiative is guarded towards children, I believe it ties nicely into the accomplishments of women who share the stage with me today. Without positive support, guidance, and well-being, which are just some of the attributes today's children need, they will not enter adulthood with the empathy and strength needed to help others as selflessly as these women here today. Throughout history, women have made lasting impacts on society, and these women represent the strength of the female spirit. Each of them have demonstrated acts of courage and leadership, often at risk to their own personal safety. These are the faces of the true heroism. This Sunday, we will celebrate International Women's Day, another opportunity to recognize the work of women throughout history and the world. In the United States, women are playing vital roles in society. They are mothers, wives, doctors, CEOs, and elected officials, to name just a few. Under this administration, we have seen the unemployment rate for women reach the lowest level in almost 70 years. And last year, women filled over 70% of all the new jobs added. This is a big step forward for women and their vital contributions to the workplace. We are here to honor a quality that all of the women on stage possess, and that is courage. Courage is something that is not easily taught and is closely tied with bravery, humility, and sacrifice. Throughout history, individuals who make the greatest impact on society and create the most change are all remembered for their acts of courage, and it is these acts that leave people inspired. Today is my great privilege to recognize women who have achieved remarkable success. They're human rights advocates in some of the most dangerous of parts of the world, and they have pushed through gender-based stereotypes to serve the greater good. These courageous women nurture and serve the lives of the powerless and forgotten within their communities. They are role models to the next generation. Through their work, they empower women everywhere, and I'm grateful for their work and dedication to positive change. I want to thank the State Department and the Office of Global Women's Issues for all the work they are doing in the pursuit of a world that is more free and prosperous. I look forward to today's celebration. God bless you, your families, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you to Secretary Pompeo and First Lady Melania Trump for their wonderful remarks. We will now move on to the awards portion of the ceremony. The Secretary and First Lady will present the award to each of the women as I call their name and read a brief overview of their impressive accomplishments. We would appreciate if you could hold your applause until I finish reading the citation for each individual. Zarifa Ghaffari of Afghanistan. After successfully launching and operating a women-focused radio station, Zarifa became the first mayor of Maidan Shar in conservative Wardak province in Afghanistan, and at the age of 26. She is being honored for defying death, threats, and showing that a woman can lead, even in conservative and conflict-affected Afghanistan, and for inspiring women and girls across the country. Zarifa, please join the Secretary and First Lady. Thank you. Lucy Kacharian of Armenia. As a dedicated journalist, Lucy is being honored for raising awareness and leading a movement against gender-based violence, championing the rights of children with mental health issues, and emerging as a leading voice fighting discrimination against women and children. Lucy, please join the Secretary and the First Lady. Shala Humbatova of Azerbaijan. A dedicated human rights lawyer, Shala is being honored for her work defending fundamental freedoms in Azerbaijan, including for marginalized groups, and being a strong advocate for her clients in politically sensitive cases, despite significant personal and professional risk. Jimena Galarza of Bolivia. A journalist with over 25 years of experience, Jimena risked her career and her freedom to expose election fraud. She is being honored for her work to support democracy and expose corruption, electoral fraud, and violations of democratic freedoms in her country. Claire Ouadrago of Burkina Faso. Claire is the president of Sangma Association for Women's Development. She is being honored for her visionary efforts and leadership to promote positive solutions to eliminate female genital mutilation and cutting, and her role in empowering women in rural areas, even as Burkina Faso has descended into a state of ongoing insecurity. Sergil Sopbai. Born in the Ala Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture of Xinjiang and now living in Sweden, Sergil is being honored for her bravery in standing up against the oppression of the Chinese Communist regime and not backing down from her commitment to others. Sergil became one of the first victims in the world to speak publicly about the repressive campaign against Muslims and ethnic minorities in Xinjiang, and her testimony was among the first evidence to reach and spark an international response. Susanna Liu of Malaysia. Susanna is being honored for her selfless dedication to fight on behalf of members of religious minorities who've disappeared in Malaysia or face persecution for their beliefs. She has endured police harassment and death threats, but has never stopped actively pursuing justice, including on behalf of her husband, Christian pastor Raymond Koh, who was abducted in 2017. Amaya Copens of Nicaragua. Amaya is one of the leaders of the 19th of April student movement in Nicaragua. She was abducted by Nicaraguan police from her residence after participating in a peaceful protest. We honor her today for her strength and tenacity in standing up for justice and against the Sandinista government and the violent repressive tactics of its security forces, as well as her acts of kindness and generosity on behalf of mothers of political prisoners who were on hunger strike. Jalila Haider of Pakistan. Known as the Iron Lady of Balochistan, Jalila is a human rights attorney who is being honored for not only strengthening opportunities for women and children, but also for taking up the cause of other vulnerable communities in Pakistan. Amina Kulani of Syria. A survivor of the Assad regime's detention and torture centers, Amina is being honored for her fearless dedication to helping the families of forcibly disappeared Syrians and as a founding member of Families for Freedom, a women-led organization launched in 2017 by families whose loved ones had been detained and disappeared in Syria. Yasmin Al-Qari of Yemen. Yasmin is being honored for her work fostering support for women displaced by conflict and to change social norms to empower women's meaningful participation in civil society and the UN-led peace process in Yemen. She and her sister established the Marib Girls Foundation in 2017, which advances efforts to combat the recruitment of child soldiers and foster support for women displaced by the ongoing conflict in Yemen. Dr. Rita Nyampinga of Zimbabwe. A steadfast human rights defender and activist, Rita is being honored for her protection of and respect for the rights of prisoners, especially women in detention, and for fighting for a fair and just legal system in Zimbabwe. Please join me in again congratulating all of our award winners today. Zarifa Ghaffari of Afghanistan to the lectern to deliver brief remarks on behalf of our group of awardees.
Madam First Lady, dear Ms. Trump, dear Mr. Secretary Pompeo, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear citizens of United States of America and the world, dear brave women of Afghanistan and brave women of the world, wherever you are fighting for the rights of women at this every time. It's truly an honor to be with you today and the presence of so many amazing women leaders from Bolivia to Burkina Faso and from Syria to Malaysia. Before I even begin, I want to thank everyone around the world who have fought for women's empowerment. It was not so long ago that most women were considered property, and sadly, in some part of the world, it's still the same. Throughout the modern era, there has been one global leader in the fight for women's rights, and that's the United States of America. To the American people, to the American government, let me say thank you. Thank you for all of you have done to improve conditions for women around the world. Thank you for the honor to speak to you today on behalf of my fellow awardees. It's humbling to be honored today alongside heroes like Amina Kulani, Rita Nyampinga, and Amaya Coppens, whom were imprisoned for their activism. Heroes like Lucy Kochorian, and who launched a movement against sexual harassment in Armenia. Heroes like Jalila Haidar, who despite threats has worked tirelessly to protect ethnic minorities in Pakistan. My name is Zarifa Ghafari. Actually, I'm not a hero. I'm just the mayor of Maidan Shahr, a city in southern side of capital. It's a conservative place, a place where men aren't used to seeing women in position of authority, a place where some men resist women in authority. When I start my job, the men at the municipal office refused to acknowledge me and my authority. A mob came and chased me away. They thought that was the end of that. But I came back. I came back and I stood my ground. A few years ago, I would not have expected that they would ever hear me and my voice. Now, I'm even listened and to be treated with full of respect. In the news, the women of Afghanistan are often seen as victims, and it is true that women have been bearing the brunt of war. But we have other stories to tell about women who fought and fighting for their rights and do not give up. Like example, in the 1920s, Soraya Tarzi became the Queen Consort of Afghanistan. It was about the time when women here in the United States achieved an amendment of the Constitution that granted them the right to vote. Soraya campaigned for women's rights and education. I have no nostalgia for monarchy, but Soraya was a role model. I think of her whenever I'm frustrated and when people tell me, give up, Zarifa, leave this office, stay at home, take care of your family matters. Whatever we women of worth may have already achieved, let us not take it for granted. It could be taken back from if we are not vigilant and strong. When I walk around in Wardak province, I know that other girls and women look at me and definitely will say, I am smart, why I can do whatever Zarifa is doing. I'm sure they will definitely say. I would like to thank the United States of America and the Afghan government, especially respected President Dr. Mohammad Ashraf Ghani and his wife, respected Ms. Rula Ghani, for standing with our women and for taking women empowerment seriously. It can contribute to peace and stability. Women of my generation have not forgotten the reign of the Taliban, and we are, as always, worried for the future. Therefore, let me ask for your continued support to ensure that Afghan peace process does not erase the gains that have been made since the dark days of the Taliban regime. Good luck, love, and respect to all of you. Remember us, and God bless you all.
I have the best job. Thank you. Zarifa, and thank you. As I've gotten to know these women, every day this week, I'm just in awe of them. They really keep us going here in our office. And so I really thank you for delivering those courageous remarks on behalf of our group of awardees this year. I hope that we'll all take those words as a call to action to redouble our own efforts to promote women's empowerment around the world. Now, I would like to invite my wonderful colleague, Assistant Secretary Marie Royce, to the lectern.
Good morning, esteemed guests. Thank you, Mrs. Trump, Secretary Pompeo, and Ambassador Curry for your leadership and support of the International Women of Courage. On behalf of the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, or ECA, I have the great pleasure of joining you to celebrate this year's remarkable awardees. The International Women of Courage not only received this prestigious award, but they also participate in an ECA exchange program called the International Visitor Leadership Program, or IVLP, which is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year. After this week in Washington, the awardees will travel across the United States to meet with their American counterparts. At ECA, we move people to move ideas. From Jackson, Mississippi, to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to my hometown of Los Angeles, California, these outstanding women of courage will engage with Americans to move ideas and develop innovative solutions to our shared global challenges. I'd like to share a story regarding an alumna, Melaboho Molefe of Botswana. A rising professional basketball player, Melaboho became a wheelchair user after a brutal attack. She has since dedicated her life to advocating for survivors of gender-based violence. During her IVLP, she traveled to Denver, Colorado, where she met with local lawmakers and the police department, and they discussed state and federal laws protecting victims of gender-based violence. Inspired by her IVLP, Melaboho continues her work in Botswana, where she now works with her government to strengthen laws that protect other victims. And this is just one story of how ECA empowers women both in the United States and also abroad. Now to the awardees. As you prepare to travel to 14 cities in all regions across the United States, know that the people of the United States, American people, share your vision for positive change. We support your continued efforts. And after you return to your countries, you will be a member of a global network of over 2 million ECA alumni who have participated, yes, thank you. 2 million ECA alumni who have participated in our exchange programs and support you. Congratulations again to each of you. And now I'd like to invite the participants, the awardees, to take a class photo with Secretary Pompeo and Mrs. Trump. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. It concludes our ceremony. Please, can everyone please remain seated until the Secretary and the First Lady have departed?